What's up, guys? Welcome back to Rusty Nuts Media. We're gonna do a little update here and show you what we got going on. So first, Jake went off-roading, broke the leaf springs and also the sway bar on the Jeep. So he's doing really well in the Jeep. And of course, that's just a toy. It's just something to play around in. Jake's ATS-V, we went to the track yesterday, I think. Yeah, yesterday, Sunday. He was able to run 11.2 at 122.
Hell yeah!
Hell yeah! And we got it on video, so I might put that in right here. And he's tuned by, who is it, Justin Schmidt? Did I say that right? Okay, Justin Schmidt. And this is on 93 pump gas. He ran 11.2 and also street tires. So it's a pretty huge accomplishment there. And as far as I can see, it is possibly the fastest ATS-V on pump gas out there right now. So he's got some C16 hiding over there in the corner. He's gonna be trying to tune it in the next week or two and see what he can do with that. He's definitely gonna get in the 10s pretty soon. But the Cadillac potentially broke a record this past weekend. Gewch, as you all know, we went to the track Friday. We were able to run our first 10-second pass. It was a 10.8 at 132. So that puts us at the third fastest caliber in the world. And then just to get a little more practice in, I took it to the track yesterday, Sunday, when Jake was there. Just to get a little seat time, just to get a feel for the car. And there's a couple issues with the car, as I've mentioned before. We were trying to get those worked out. Unfortunately, the first two passes, it was breaking up so bad I couldn't do anything with it. The fueling seems to be a little off, looking at the air to fuel ratio. So there's a couple problems in here. And then on the third pass, when I had just bypassed the boost control altogether, we put it on the lowest boost setting possible to see if it was a boost issue. Snapped an axle, I think during the burnout. It was either during the burnout or during the launch, one of the two, but I couldn't test it there. So tonight, I went ahead and ran around today. I got all my stuff I need to replace some stuff, do some troubleshooting here and there. So we've currently got it on the lowest boost setting possible just to make sure it's not a boost control issue that's causing us all kinds of other problems. So we're gonna try that out when it gets running. I had a spare axle laying around, so I'm gonna go ahead and throw this spare axle in there. I've got a new wideband sensor. I've got a new O2 sensor. I've got 2 new sets of spark plugs. I've got all my new trans fluid ready to go in. Currently, the car is on 100% water for the coolant. So I'm gonna drain all that out and swap it over to coolant and get it ready for winter because it's gonna start getting really cold soon. So I wanna go ahead and swap that over. And other than that, I'll just be putting all this on the car today and then crank it and see what it looks like, talking to the tuner. We think we got a handle on what it is, but we're gonna try a couple things and see. So yeah, that's the update for today, so I'll see you in just a minute.
Sweet. Sheared it.
Just weld it back together?
Yep, and then grind it down.
All right.
Need an air ratchet.
Yeah, we do.
Insert this axle into the transmission. Got it. Let it come down. We got power again.
All right, so we got the axle changed out. We got the old broken one out of there. We got the new one in there. Everything's good. Nuts tight, tie rods back on, lower control arms back in. All done here. And we've topped off the fluid too. So that's complete. But before I put the tire back on and let the car down, I went ahead and took my intake off and I put my boost leak tester on here. I'm gonna go ahead and do a boost leak test all the way up to like 35 pounds of boost. That could be another potential issue as far as running rich, lean, throwing your air to fuel off, anything like that. So I'm gonna do a boost leak test. I'm gonna do a couple other tests here and there. We did a compression check at the track. Everything checked out there. The motor's not hurt. It's just something small that's throwing everything out. So I'm gonna do this. I'll be right back. Bad news. We have a boost leak. I wish it was an easy fix, but it's not. Start putting air in there, it barely builds 5 pounds of boost or 5 pounds of pressure. And air starts pouring out from under the intake manifold, bottom lip of where it seals to the head. So something's wrong with the intake manifold. It's either the gasket, the seal, or it's got a crack or something right around the intake manifold. I've capped off all my vacuum ports around there. There's no vacuum lines that could be leaking. I can put my hand right at the base of the intake manifold and I can make that leak talk to me a little bit, so it's right there at the bottom of the manifold. So that sucks. I guess that's gonna change my plans a little bit. I'm probably gonna end up pulling this intake manifold off. The good news here is I've got a spare intake manifold at my house just in case I need a new one, but I'm probably gonna go ahead and pull this thing off just to look and see what the issue is, so tomorrow I can get a good jump on fixing it and finishing up all the other little projects going on here. But that would also tell me why all of a sudden my air to fuel was going nuts, because there's a leak right there at the manifold where the fuel injectors are. Not on top, but on bottom. And as far as how that happened, it could have been one of the times where we lost boost control and it was just trying to build 40 pounds of boost. It could have blew, a little tiny hole in the manifold or a crack or something like that. But I'm gonna get this thing pulled off and we'll check it out. Oof, found the problem. So got the intake manifold off. All that stuff came off the car. Found where we're leaking. We are missing a big chunk of our gasket right here. Now, hopefully that came out under boost and not in under vacuum, but I'm pretty sure it just came out under probably one of the times we were over boosting and hitting 40 something pounds of boost. So that's not a big deal at all. Luckily, the auto parts store is still open. I believe they have one in stock. So I'm gonna go ahead and call them, let them put their hands on it, make sure it's there, and I'm gonna run and get that, come back, throw the new gasket on, torque it to spec, put everything back together. That could be our fueling issue right there that's making our air to fuel so rich, where we've got that huge leak right there next to the injectors. So hopefully that solves it, so I'll be right back with a gasket. All right, back from the store. Managed to pick up a new gasket, so I'm gonna change that out, clean that surface really good, clean the head surface really good. Throw this thing back on there, torque it down to spec, throw everything else back on there. So that'll be done here in just, 5-10 minutes, something like that. It's not that big of a deal. Then I'll get everything back together. I've still got to change the wideband sensor, the O2 sensor. I went ahead and got new ones anyways, just to make sure. And probably gap a new set of spark plugs and throw in there. Change out the water, and of course, I'll probably record as I go along, but still a couple things to do. I'm gonna do a boost leak test after I get this on there, make sure everything's good, and I'll keep you updated. All right, intake manifold is back on. Boost leak test is done. It did fix the intake manifold leak there. There was one other small leak that I could find down here. Other than that, everything looks good, everything's tight. So there we go. I mean, it's ready to go. The only thing I'm gonna do now is leave this cap off, crank it, let it get up to temperature, and kind of burp that system so I can fill it up. And then we'll be ready to go. So I don't know if I'm gonna test drive it tonight. It depends on after it warms up, how everything is, what time it is, all that kind of stuff. But I'm gonna go ahead and burp the system and we'll see what it does. All right, so I went ahead and burped the coolant system. So it's all filled up, it's full, ready to go. The car's not overheating. I went ahead and did a small pull out there. I drove it around for a little while and then did a small pull just to check and see if the car's gonna break up anymore since we're at low boost and everything's good. The car did not break up. It's on spring pressure, which it's a 14 PSI spring in the wastegate, and we were at 14, right at 14, 15 PSI. Held fine, car pulled fine, no spark issues whatsoever. So I think we got that figured out. And then also while it's idling, it's completely normal now. It's around the 14.7 mark that we want. So I think we also fixed the rich idle issue that we had. So far I think we've got everything fixed. I think the car's really ready to go. There's a couple more things I wanted to check throughout the week before we hit the track. I'm trying to go back probably this weekend, if possible, if the track's still open, if they're not having events, blah, blah, blah. So as long as the car's ready by then and the track is open, we are rocking out probably Friday, Saturday, maybe Sunday. We'll see what happens with it. But the car is fixed for now, so I'm gonna take that as a win. So I'm gonna pack it up here, go home, and then later in the week, we'll be doing a little bit more work just to make sure it's 100% ready to go. Other than that, subscribe to the channel, check out some other videos, follow along as we try to take down the caliber world record, which currently is at 10.5. There are 2 guys that have ran 10.5s in calibers. They're the only ones ahead of us right now. So we're gonna try to take them down either at the end of this year, hopefully beginning of next. We'll see how it goes. So subscribe, and we'll see you later. Bye.